Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q4 FY21 earnings conference call of KEI Industries hosted by Monarch Networth Capital. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anubhav Rawat. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rutuja. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. We are pleased to host the senior management team of KEI Industries, and today we have with us Mr. Anil Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director of the company, and Mr. Rajiv Gupta, CFO of the company. Let us start this call with management's initial comments about the results, and then we will take your questions. Over to you, Anil, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody, friends. I'm Anil Gupta, CMD KEI Industries Limited. So it's very nice interacting with you. I'll give a brief about the results of Q4 of financial year 2021. Q4 of 2021, the company has achieved a net sales of rupees 1,246.31 crore as against rupees 1,258.5 crore last year. So it is almost at par with the last year, maybe down by around 1%. The company was able to maintain its sales because of our strategy and focus on developing and improving the retail sales through our dealer network, where our sales has grown by approximately 44% in this quarter, in quarter 4, in spite of lower revenue in EPC and exports, which is down due to execution of a very large export order of Dangote Oil Refinery last year, same period. EBITDA margins have over net sales in this quarter has improved to 11.56% as against 9.77% in the same period of the previous year. And profit after tax over net sales margins has improved to 7.16% versus 4.84% last year, same period. So thus improving the net profit by around 2.4% in percentage terms in this Q4 compared to last year. The company has achieved the dealer retail sale has contributed around 36.24% in quarter 4 against last year, same period, which was 25.52% of the total sale. However, the total active working dealers of the company as on 31st March 2021 was 1,655. Now I'll give a brief about the result summary of the whole financial year of 2021. Net sales in FY 2021 is rupees 4,181.49 crore against rupees 4,884 crore. The decline in net sales is around 14.39% over corresponding period, which was mainly due to lockdown and business restrictions in Q1 of the FY 2021 because of COVID. Other than that, the sales which has declined in EPC segment, which is as per the management strategy to reduce the dependence on EPC business and restricts its turnover. However, the EBITDA/net sales margin has improved by 1% to 11.49% in the whole year, as against 10.49% in the same period previous year. Profit after tax in 2021 is rupees 273.31 crore against rupees 255 crore in the same period of the last financial year. The company has pending order book, pending orders of 2,561 crore overall, in which EPC is 806 crore, which includes a export order of in Nepal ADB funded project of 316 crore. Extra high voltage cable turnkey projects 506 crore. Cables from the domestic customers 1,198 crore, and export order of 51 crore. We expect a growth of approximately 25% in FY22 in the domestic institutional sale, and a retail sale growth of around more than 35% in this financial year as per the current estimates. Company's credit rating from ICRA and CARE is A+ for long-term rating and A1 for short-term rating. The book value of the equity share of the company is 197.83 as against 168 last year. The total borrowings, including channel finance, of rupees 157 crore as on 31st March is so the total borrowings of the company is 305 crore, including channel finance, and cash and bank balance of rupees 221 crore, as against borrowing of 367 crore and cash and bank balances of 214 crore as on 31st March 2020. However, the creditors against letter of credit acceptances as on 31st March 2021 is down to rupees 323 crore as against 770 crore as on 31st March 2020. So the net debt including acceptance has reduced to rupees 408 crore as on 31st March 2021 as against rupees 922 crore as on 31st March 20. So the net debt has down by 515 crore over in this period, in the current period. So consequent to this, the finance cost has decreased to rupees 57.31 crore as against rupees 129 crore previous year same period. So the percentage of financial charges on net sales has decreased this period to 1.37% from 2.64%. The company has used operating cash flow for cash purchases, resulting into reductions of trade payables acceptances substantially by rupees 447 crore, which has further reduced finance costs during the year. Though it may impact certain financial ratios like working capital cycle and ROCE, but it has benefited the company in the form of reduction in the finance costs. I'll come to the future outlook. The working capital of approximately 150 crore is expected to be released during financial year 2021 from EPC debtors retention money. Financial year 2021-22 from EPC debtors, which is more of a retention money, which will be used for increased sale of cables and meeting the capex requirements in current financial year. So the company will have sufficient cash flows to meet its working capital and growth requirements of future. The company is at a transformation stage. Consultants for making strategies and policies for increasing our sales through retail dealer network by approximately 35% in this financial year. To maintain retail sales growth, the company has also recruited more than 100 manpower in various sales branches at different levels in last 4 months all over India. The present capacities utilized during 2021, 59% in cable division, 61% in house wire division, and 85% in stainless steel wire division. So the company has sufficient capacity in place to achieve growth for next 2 years by the time the new capacity will also be available. Overall, the company is targeting growth of 17 to 18% in current year and will do CapEx of approximately 600 to 700 crore from internal accruals in next 4 years to maintain a CAGR of 17 to 18%, as against achieved CAGR of 15% during last 15 years. I'll give a brief about the industry outlook. We have seen observing continued focus of government on infrastructure projects and focus of the government on CapEx as announced in Union Budget. We are seeing a lot of tunneling and ventilation projects in Indian Railways and different railway projects and across India. Underground cabling projects of transmission and distribution in metro cities, Tier A and Tier B cities, conversion of overhead lines into cable, underground cabling, either to extra high voltage cable or HT cables. Modernization of railway stations and platforms and metro rail projects. Smart city projects as announced by the government. Modernization and development of tourist places, pilgrimage places and heritage places across India. Announcement of new airports across India and modernization of existing airports. Metro rail projects and suburban train projects being under execution at various places in India, as well as the bullet train project. Construction of roads and highways, which leads to a lot of undergrounding of distribution and transmission system across highways. Solar power projects, nuclear power projects, and new projects coming up. Oil and gas sector, refinery expansion, fuel upgradation and capacity upgradation in various state-owned oil refineries going on across India. Steel industry expansion, other industrial growth projects, private capex across industries. We expect a lot of private investment due to this PLI scheme announced by the government. And we are also working on developing new export markets in Africa, Latin America, Brazil, etc. Although there are restrictions in traveling, so it is taking little time. So, but we are hopeful that we'll be developing new markets at these places. Thank you very much, and I now request you to raise any queries, whatever you may have, and we'll be happy to answer the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Nawal Sheikh from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity, sir. A few questions from my end. First, you explained on receivable part that there is close to around 165 crores, 160 crores pending as a retention money which will be released. But this year somehow your receivables have not reduced despite of the fact that revenues have declined. So are there payments which are stuck with government authorities and will be released in first quarter of this year? That is my first question. Second, is this the same reason why your capital employed in cable and wire has increased on year-on-year basis as well? And third, on the dealer addition. So this year there has been only 5 new net dealer additions. Now you have set targets on retail revenue growth and added sales force as well. So any number you would want to add over here in terms of what kind of number, apart from the long-term 10%, 11% CAGR, which is there on dealer addition number as well? Thank you.
As far as the receivable is concerned, Mr. Rajiv Gupta, you see that in EPC division the sale has reduced, but the retention payment which was not due, which is due only in the last quarter. So now it will be received in the first half, hopefully. So once there's approximately 150 crore will receive, it will be used for working capital requirements of the incremental sale. The second, the ROCE, you see, we have reduced 447 crore of the creditors, wherein we have already benefited in terms of the LC interest and LC bank charges, approximately 23 crore rupees. So ultimately, it is in the interest of the company to purchase through cash if we are having the cash available in the system. So we have the good operating cash flow. That's why we have used this operating cash flow to buy the metal, practically aluminum and copper, in cash. So because of that, the creditor has gone down by close to 450 crore rupees. Because of that, you might be seeing the capital employed increase. Apart from this, the number of dealer distributor increment, because last year, as we said, we are at a transformation stage. We have focused on the existing dealer distributor network to strengthen them, and we are focusing to each and every existing dealer distributor network should increase their retail network under them. So because of that focus, we were able to increase our sale in the fourth quarter also. And in the current financial year, approximately 20% dealer distributor new will be appointing, because we have inducted more than 100 people in the retail team, as we said, and the growth in the retail sector as a whole will be close to 35% plus in this coming financial year.
Understood. And my last question is on exports. The order book has fallen, this quarter. So, any sense how export order book will be built up as you enter the new territories, or there will be challenges this year also as we have entered this second wave of COVID? There are travel restrictions. Some thought over there also.
As you see, last year we have almost did around 600 crore of sales. So that kind of export sale will be maintained in this year also. Because other than Demotive, we did this kind of sale. So close to 550 to 600 crore export sale will be there. We have already started export into Latin America side, because where we have taken the approvals also for the solar cables. And we are already at distance in Africa and Australian market and Middle East market, from where we are getting the regular orders from there.
Sure. And sir, you want to share any progress on your expansion into electrical products, where we are now? Any timelines you want to state?
As our CMD said, that more than 100 people we have inducted into the wire business, wherein we are focusing more and more on the consumer wire. Out of this 35% growth of the retail, practical our target to grow a pure consumer wire business in this financial year is almost double. So once we get this, so our total dealer distributor network sale will be more than 40% this year, and we will be trying to reach now for 50%. And hopefully, after achieving this in this financial year, total turnover, after receiving this kind of dealer distributor growth of 35% plus, definitely we will be having 2-3 more products on the counter of the retail counters.
Sure. Thank you and all the best, sir. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saurabh Padwa from HDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for taking the question and congratulations for a really good number. I just wanted some broad thoughts on the EHV side. So we've been doing really well in last few years, but I believe now the other companies are also trying to get into this business, specifically say maybe Finolex cables with So, do you believe there is increasing competition in this side? Because so far I think we were competing largely from players outside India. Is anything changing there?
I don't think that Finolex J-Power is any threat because they do not meet qualifying requirements anywhere. So their total turnover in a year is less than their yearly expenditure. So
Absolutely.
they are a completely loss-making company, and hence they do not meet technical and financial QR of any tenders. So they are not a threat. However, we hope that and we believe that there will be good growth in this market with the moment this economy starts opening up, maybe from July, once this COVID restrictions are over, and good amount of work will come.
And second was on the solar and other renewable power side that you just briefly mentioned. So what kind of product specifically we sell there, or who would be the competitors there? Because that market would expand very fast in coming years.
See, we are selling there high tension cables, and HT cables and LT cables, and also in some of the projects extra high voltage cable, which is mainly used to connect the power withdrawal to the grid transmission system of the state. So, this type of projects consumes all type of cables. Also, we are supplying them, solar wires, which are used in the solar panels inside the, inside the panels. That is also a product we are TUV approved for these products.
So who would be the competitors over there, sir?
Present main competitors in this segment is mainly Polycab and APAR.
Okay. So just one last question, if you can squeeze in. Any thoughts on the second wave and how it would have impacted? Because there are mixed views from when we speak to multiple companies. Some believe the impact could be larger. Some believe it could as the lockdown starts opening, easing out, the demand would come in sharply. So your thoughts on the same, sir?
At the moment, definitely May is impacted in terms of sales because of the lockdown and because of the closure of the sites where the projects are getting executed. This has been in the most parts of the country. So but we feel that cables sales is intact, but wires, the retail sale will not be impacted. Maybe we will be able to improve the sales in the coming months as soon as this lockdown is over, because there will be a pent-up demand, and suddenly the customers will be out in the market to buy the product and for building their houses.
Understood, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for your explanation, and all the best for the coming quarter.
Thank you. The next question on the line is Lavina Q from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Congrats on the good set of numbers. So just on the debtor side, now that EPC revenues will go down further, retail proportions should rise. Where do you see this debtors number stabilizing in the next 2 years? Because it's moved up by about 20%. So I understand the optics of lower EPC revenues, but where do you see that headed?
So you see, in the next 2 years, as you said, that it will be close to 2.25 to 2.5 months holding. Because now EPC revenue is going down where the data period was 6.5 months. But now, in the current financial year, the 2021 balance sheet which you are seeing, though the EPC sale has gone down, but the retention money has not received. So retention money has due now, so it will be received in the current financial year. Then it will be a reflection of the true picture of the receivable. But in future, going ahead, our working in the receivable side, the retail sale is going to increase year-on-year basis, and EPC sale will not increase from here. So the total overall receivable will be less than 3 months, maybe 2.5 to 2.75 of the balance sheet.
Understood. And so on the EHV side, any thoughts on a tender pipeline or bids that are coming up over the next 12, 18 months? I understood the color that was given, but
we are already holding more than 500 crore of the pending order, though we are having the capacity of close to 450 to 470 crore. And more overhead cable projects are converted into underground cabling, as CMD sir has said. And the demand is always higher than the industry capacity in India available. So always there is an import. So that is not the challenge in the EHV side. Only the execution part was the challenge in EHV because of the construction site was stopped due to this pandemic.
okay. And so lastly, can you give me a split, please, of the interest cost, the breakup?
Yeah, you can note down.
Thank you.
The interest on term loan was close to 4 crore as against 14 crore. Working capital interest was close to 24.5 crore as against 58 crore. LC interest was 9.55 crore as against 26.36 crore. Bank charges on LC was 4.6 crore as against 10.3 crore. Bank charges on bank guarantee was 9.3 crore as against 13 crore. And other bank charges was 5.2 crore as against 6.9 crore. So total was 57.3 as against 129. So you see the major benefit was in the LC interest and bank charges of approximately 23-24 crore, and the other working capital also there was close to 23 crore benefit.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Agarwal from InCred Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, and congrats for a decent result, Anilji and Rajivji. I had three. Firstly, on the greenfield expansion, can we have some finer details? Analyze the location, land, project finance, what products we're talking about here. Obviously, I know it's more to do with EHV, LTHT, but any finer details possible?
Actually, in the month of February, we have gone for Gujarat. We almost were in the finalization stage. We have identified 3 locations in Gujarat. But unfortunately, in the month of March, again, the pandemic started again, and we stuck. So now, after June, again, we will go and we will finalize this. And hopefully, we will be starting in the second quarter this capex, because now we need to do this capex. So we are almost already we have in our mind 150 to 175 crore we need to spend from our internal accruals, because in this current financial year of 21-22, because almost project will also take 18 months time. So by the time we have sufficient capacity for this year and next year, but by the time this new capacity will come for LT, HT, XI voltage power cable, and we will also add the few new electrical products as we are discussing in the next financial year. Already we have expanded our capacity in the house wire division in Silvassa. So that capacity is available for next 2 years. We are having sufficient capacity to grow more than 80-90% year-on-year basis.
Got it. So as I understand, LT cables and housing wire has a lot of scope to grow because of capacity, but HT, SS stainless steel wire and EHV has capacity constraints. Is that correct? As of now, I'm saying.
HT we are also having, but EHV is the constraint wherein we cannot sell more than 470 crore rupees as a cable product, which we have already sold 417 crore as a product.
Right.
That may go up to 470 or maybe 500 crore, but that's it.
So peak sale possible for housing wire was 1600 crores, for stainless steel wire about 150, and for EHV is about 500. Is that correct?
Yes, you are right.
And overall company level it was 5800 crores. Is that correct?
Overall company level we can go up to 6500 crore.
6500 crores. Okay. Got it. And one last thing on capacity utilization, you said cables was about 59 and stainless steel wire was, I missed the housing wire number. If you could help me with the capacity utilization.
That's 61% around.
Okay. Thank you so much. Best wishes for future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, I have a couple of questions. One, for your industry, what is the importance or contribution of power sector as a percentage of total sales, and how does the dynamic changes under the rising solar installations in power versus the conventional thermal or wind? Does the cable intensity goes up, and by what proportion?
See, the proportion of cables at present in our to the power sector, which includes power generation, transmission and distribution, put together is close to 30% at the moment. Rest 70% goes to infrastructure sector and construction sector, which includes housing also. Now, basically the thermal projects are almost negligible now. It is only the some additional units are somewhere or the other being installed in the current power projects in thermal sector. Major expansion is in the solar side, and some expansions are in wind power also. So the cable demand majorly is coming from the solar side, and it is for the evacuation of power from the solar generation side to the grid, which includes very small quantities of extra high voltage cable, and then majorly 33 kV cables and HT cables and low voltage cables.
Does the intensity rise for a megawatt of solar project versus a megawatt of thermal project in terms of cable consumption?
Yes, because mostly the evacuation of the power from the solar projects is through cables, and in the earlier times when the large thermal projects were coming, there the evacuation of power was mainly from the overhead transmission system. So the cabling route was used very less.
Okay.
So hence the intensity rise in this case.
Okay. And so my second question is, and it links to that debtor reduction to about 2 to 2.5 months. So one, will the EPC business caps at a certain number in your mind in terms of size, and what will be the net debt figure in 22 and 23 for the company, considering this reduction in debtor days, change in mix, and I don't know what is your assumption on EPC business?
Net debt is already apart from the acceptances. This is a cash surplus company, because there is a 157 crore is the channel financing. You see, channel financing is not practically the debt, but it is basically because of India's adjustment we have to show here. Okay. Otherwise, the term loan and working capital minus cash is a cash surplus company. So apart, as we said, that whatever receivable we will be realizing in this financial year from EPC side, we will be using this money for incremental sales as well as the capex. So there will not be any growth in the debt. The debt number will decrease from here also, because whatever we will be accrue further from here, we will be utilizing this fund to the cash purchases. So LC level, which is now acceptances 323 crore as compared to 770 crore, which will further go down. So our focus not to maintain the capital employed, but our focus is to reduce the interest cost and use this cash flow, operating cash flow, to the interest of the company, wherein we are saving interest costs, bank charges, and getting additional cash discount by way of cash purchase, rather than keeping the money in the fixed deposit.
Can you give an indicative number, this 400 crore that we see as total, which you have mentioned in the presentation after acceptances? What number this 400 crore should go to over the next 2 years?
This 400 crore in this financial year, it will be close to 350 crore, and it will be further reducing every year, because now whatever capex we are indicating you to 150 to 175 crore per annum, wherein our cash profit will be more than 350 crore rupees. So almost 50% in the capex, and balance 50% we are still keeping for the working capital. So our focus to reduce the debt further from here also, to reduce the interest cost further from here also, so that we can improve the cash profit from here. And we can be a cash-rich company in future.
My last question is, sir, what is the challenge that you are facing in housing wire in 21 for not able to generate growth?
So repeat your question.
What is the challenge you are facing in housing wires for us not able to generate growth?
No, sir. Housing wire as a whole was not growth because of the total retail sale was not, because of the Q1 was bad. But if you see the Q4 we have grown by 44%. And every company has grown, not only KEI, because the demand is very good. Whether you talk of our competitors, they have also grown into 35 to 50% range. We have also grown in this range. That's why in future, in 21-22, we are targeting pure retail houseware sale almost going to double. But as a whole retail, wherein the flexible wire, housing wire, and the cable sale to the retail sector, the combined put together the retail sale, we will grow close to 35%.
And it has what percentage margin higher than the company level? How much percentage higher is the margin?
Margin, you see now in the retail is close to, earlier it was 11%, now it has moved to another 11 to 12% range. Earlier the institutional margin was close to 9.5%. It has moved to now 10 to 10.25% margin. So that's why the overall EBITDA margin has improved to 11.5% in this quarter also, and 11.5% range as a company as a whole also.
The whole year.
Institution has moved from 9.5 to 10.5.
Yeah, institution has also improved because the demand is improving and the pre-qualification criteria the company is having. So all the top companies are benefiting. Smaller companies, those who are in the range of 200 to 500 crore, are not able to cope up with the working capital requirement.
Okay. So your company level margin of 11% that we see in the year gone by is a sustainable number.
Yes, it's sustainable.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, and all the best.
In case with the interest cost also, that is also now in the reducing mode now from here onward.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Charandeep Singh from DSP Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. One, if you can just highlight to us, in terms of the price hike which you have taken in the retail and the institutional side, the quantum, and do you intend to take any further price hike in Q1?
Actually, there is some disturbance from where you are speaking in your,
Charanjit, please repeat your question.
Hello, sir, can you hear me now? Is it better? Yeah. So just in terms of the price hike, can you just elaborate, what's the kind of price hikes which you would have taken at the retail level or for the institutional sales also? And in Q1 also, do you intend to take any further price hikes? That's my first question.
See, the price hike in the houseware has, I think, gone up to 40% in last 6 to 7 months because of the rise in copper prices. And so far as Q1 is concerned, yes, there will be some price rise of 8 to 10%, which is in line with the increase in the copper prices during April and May. So, but any further price rise or price reduction will depend on the movement of copper prices.
Charanjit, it's just whenever copper goes up, the price goes up. So whenever the copper goes down, the prices goes down. Only this is the year where the continuous price was rising. Otherwise, it was not happening in so many years where the continuous rising. It is always sometimes goes up, sometimes goes down.
Okay. And on the retail channel front, sir, what is the benefit which any retail dealer would see from KEI's perspective? Is it a better margin or a better product portfolio mix, which you think that could attract them to start selling more of KEI products? And in terms of any region where we are trying to focus more on in terms of this retail channel expansion, if you can give more inputs on that.
We are working on retail expansion all over India. we do not have a reduced focus anywhere. We have built up our retail sales team in all our 27 branches in all the zones. So we are not very specific that where we are our focus is. We are focused on entire India.
So in terms of our channel margins versus the competitor channel margins, how different will be? And in terms of their ROEs and ROIs for any dealers, do you think it will make more sense to go ahead and start selling KEI fans?
There is a the channel margins. I think we are able to give good channel margins to our channel partners because of the strategy that we are not allowing them to compete with each other in their same territories. I do not know. I think most companies do track the channel margins of their dealers, and that is a practice in this industry.
Okay. And so last question from my side, you also talked about as our retail channel expands further, we also could have, 2 to 3 more products added into the portfolio which you would like to push from this channel. So if you can elaborate on those product segments which you are looking to expand into, what could be the, strategy in terms of the scale up on those categories? Yeah, that's all from my side.
We'll come out with that, those products maybe after 6 months. Once we see a good traction in this year up to October or November from the retail push what we are doing, and the additional marketing teams we have deployed all over the country. So at the moment, this all is in planning state. Actually, everything is delayed for another 3 months due to this lockdown. Because offices are not working, so the strategic discussions are not taking place, and people are not able to go to the markets.
Okay, sir. That's all from my side, sir. Thanks for taking my question.
Okay, Danish.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akshay Bhor from Premji Invest. Please go ahead.
Great, thanks. Thanks and congratulations on good set of numbers. So my first question is on unallocable has reduced substantially in the quarter, and there is some movement on the cable margin as well. Can you clarify what's happening there?
No, you are talking of the segment result?
That's right, sir. That's right, sir.
Yeah, in the segment result this time, the GST has issued a concept of the cross charge. Cross charge means all the head office expenses which were earlier shown in the unallocable expenditure. Now the unallocated expenditure has moved to a respective head of cable and stainless steel wire and EPC division. So we have reversed the first 6-month charges which we have not unallocated, we have shown in unallocated. So that entry was done only in the 4th quarter. Approximately 26 crore of unallocated expenditure was reversed in this quarter, which was related to previous quarter. So because of that, you are seeing only the margin. But otherwise, you will see if you reduce this 26 crore or add in the margin of the segment result in the cable, you add 26 crore rupees, then you will find the 11.61% EBITDA margin is there.
Got it, sir. Got it. So the full 26 crore is coming from the cable segment.
Yeah, it is basically the cross charge wherein all the head office expenses, salary, etc. Now we need to allocate to the branches and the factories actually. Earlier we were showing only into the unallocated expenditure. So that's why in a whole year you will see against 129 crore expenditure, you must be witnessing only 36 crore expenditure in unallocated. So in future onward, every time unallocated expenditure will be very, very minimum because everything needs to allocate actually now.
Got it, sir. Got it. And just for one more clarification, in terms of the 2.5 months that you indicated, was that for overall working capital or that's only for receivables? And if that's the case, then what's the...
Overall working capital will also be 2.4 months. Hopefully in this year also, 2.5 months. If everything goes well, then the 2.5 months will come down to this year itself. Because in EPC, the retention is due. So if that comes and we are not increasing the EPC sale, we are having the EPC sale only in the range of 450 to 500 crore. So that will be in the range of. You see, if at present also you see in the working capital cycle, the creditor has reduced close to 0.8 months. So if you consider that, then still you will see the working capital cycle is not that bad that we are seeing from the balance. It is looking like because we are utilizing our cash to pay the creditor early. It is mainly because of that only. Because we opt not to keep the fixed deposit, rather we should avail the benefit of the cash by purchasing in cash and get the discount also.
Just one last clarification from my side. The elevated capital employed and working capital, is that also because because copper prices have gone up and your quantity would have kind of remained the same either with dealers in terms of outstanding or inventory for you? Is that also a factor that has played in?
Yeah, that's why I said in spite of increase in the prices, everything is inbuilt now, whether it is a stock, whether it's a debtor, whether it's a creditor.
Done. Thanks, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Atul Bhole from BSP Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So just one question. You are giving a guidance of 35% growth in the retail side, while you have taken 40% price hike. So does that mean that a large part of the growth will be price hike related and you are expecting muted volume growth for the next year? So can you, within the guidance, can you provide a bifurcation of volume growth? Thanks.
Sir, actually, nobody knows whether the copper price will remain at this level or it will further reduce. If we talk of the last year, complete year, the copper has increased on an average is only 17%, not more than that. If we compare in a particular quarter, then we see it has increased a lot. But if we talk of the total year, then it has not increased more than 17% of the average copper rate on a monthly basis. So nobody knows this copper rate will maintain or not. Definitely, if this copper rate will maintain for full year, then the growth will be much higher. But we are assuming always on the average basis. Sometimes copper goes up, sometimes copper will go down also. So on that basis, we are financial year growth as a whole of close to 20%, including the institutional sale, export sale, EHV sale, dealer distributor sale every year. The retail growth will be much higher because of the penetration in the market and number of increased sales power, salesman power, number of retailers.
So more growth will come from the retail side, and while we will continue to decline EPC business gradually.
But is it possible to provide volume growth guidance for the retail business? Given the expansion you are doing on the distribution side?
In 21-22, the volume growth will be close to 25% plus.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your question to per participant. If you have a follow-up question, you may rejoin the queue. The next question is from the line of Srinidhi Karlekar from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, I just have a couple of questions on a bit of hypothetical question. Sir, if we assume that copper prices remain where they are now throughout the rest of the financial year, would you say your margin would remain in the guidance range of 11.5?
Sir, margin has nothing to do with the copper price, because copper is the item where no one can absorb the pricing. It is like a gold. If the gold is higher, then the jewelry rate will also be higher. So it is like same. If copper price will go up, our cable or wire price will go up. If it goes down, then it will go down also. It is not the case that it will maintain.
Yeah. So this question really is that, do you think from a pricing point of view more of a margin, or do you think more from a contribution profit? So it appears like you think more from a margin, like even the industry thinks more from a margin point of view, right?
The margin is almost okay. Basically, in our industry, the margin is not like this 18% or 20% margin we are operating. We are operating only between the 10 to 12% margin. So there is not much scope to the upper side or to the downside.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Understood. And sir, you have guided something 15 to 16% growth, right, on a consolidated company level.
Consolidated base, Anilji had said 17-18% plus growth. But seeing in the penetration in the retail, etc., definitely we will grow more than 5,000 crore turnover in this financial year. And as you said, if these kind of copper rates remain as it is for full year, then it will be further improved from more than 5,000 crore.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you for answering my question and all the very best.
Sir, growth was never a challenge for KEI in the last 15 years. If you see the balance sheet of KEI, we have always grown more than 15% CAGR. In last 5 years, the KEI have grown almost 20% CAGR, except the last financial year. Because last financial year, because of the pandemic, etc. So growth was never challenge for KEI, because it's a 50-year-old company. All the demand through the pre-qualification comes to us. Export we have already well established. In extra high voltage power cable, only the 2 companies in India. So that's why these are the sectors where no one can compete with us.
Right.
Now in the retail we are penetrating, because now neither we will be borrowing more, because we are increasing the more and more into the retail side, wherein working capital cycle is very, very less, close to 1 month, as compared to 3 months in the institutional side. So that's why in future also the borrowing will be going further down from here, even though we are going to capex for 175-150 crore year-on basis. In spite of that, the company will be the cash surplus company.
Right, sir. Amazing, sir. And all the very best for future endeavors, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Santosh Rai from AMSEC. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. I had a couple of questions, sir. Just for bookkeeping question, could you please share the revenue mix of the wires business for A, B, and C class cities for FY20, sir?
From the retail side?
Yes, sir.
In the house wire segment, approximately A class city business is close to 35 to 40%. Again, in the C class business is also close to 37 to 42%. And balance 17-18% to 20% business is from the B class cities. Our A class city categorization is only the metro cities.
So these numbers are referring to FY20, sir?
FY 2021.
Okay, you are referring to FY20.
More or less, whether you talk of 21 or 20, hardly 1 or 2% here and there. Sometimes because of the pandemic, last year basically the rural sector, the C class city was more than the A class city by more than 2%.
Sir, I'm just trying to understand when it was the second consecutive year when the industry degrew in FY21 as per IEMA numbers. And if that is the case, and already most of the cities we are seeing a lockdown kind of a scenario, what gives us a comfort that, that even for the remaining 9-10 months of the year, we would see a strong growth? Because nothing is much when I compare to FY21 scenario. Then the growth was not there, right? In housing wires, we saw just a 6.5% growth.
आंसर दे देता हूँ. अगर लास्ट ईयर सपोज हमने 4200 करोड़ किया, दिस मीन्स वी हैव ग्रोन बाई 14%. बट अगर आप ईपीसी बिजनेस को हटा के देखें हमारा, तो हमारा कोई सा डिग्रोथ ही नहीं है लास्ट ईयर, क्योंकि 500 करोड़ का बिजनेस तो हमने ईपीसी का डिग्रो किया है. दैट इज अवर इंटेंशन.
Sir, I am referring only to the housing wire growth. And I'm taking your guidance.
Housing
I'm trying to understand how things have changed.
Yeah, in spite of that, we were maintaining the same level. Suppose हमारा dealer distributor का sale कोई 1,413 crore था, and in spite of the pandemic etc., we have achieved around 1,408 crore. So this means almost at par, in spite of the pandemic. तो ये साल हम लोग सोचते हैं कि उतना बड़ा लॉकडाउन तो नहीं जितना बड़ा लास्ट ईयर था, है ना? तो in spite of that, we will grow further from there.
And once we have to be optimistic, and we can't see that country will remain in lockdown. Ultimately, vaccination has started, and if by June end this lockdowns are open, then 9 months enough to grow very fast, and there will be unsaturated demand.
Okay, understood, sir. Sir, one last question, if I may. Sir, the share of exports in Q4 declined. The share of retail increased. So even if I consider the number of 165 crores of retention money to be released, so is it that on a YOY basis the retail working capital has got a bit stressed?
No, retail working capital is not more than 1 month or 1.25 months, because in retail we have the channel financing. So all the receivable in the retail side is hardly 1 month, as compared to the institutional side is 2.5 months in the cable division. But in the extra high voltage power cable, the receivable is close to 4.5 months because of the basically EPC segment over there. So we supply the cable, then we lay, so then we execute. But in the EPC side, the receivable cycle is close to 6.5 months because of the retention money. So in retail, already there is only 1 month working, particular receivable.
Got it, sir. Understood. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parth Bala from Prabhudas Lilladher. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Just one question from my side. Sir, of this EPC, excluding cable, for the full year that we did of around 460 crores, what would be the EHV contribution on that? If you can just help with that.
Repeat your question, please.
So, of the EPC X cable for the full year, the number that we did of 460 odd crores, what would be the EHV contribution, the EHV EPC here in this number?
See, EPC business, the complete year was, if we talk of EPC, then EPC other than cable was close to 400 crore cable, out of which close to 50 crore relate to EHV and 250 crore relate to extra high voltage. EPC.
Okay, so 150 would be EHV. All right. Thank you so much.
Connect in next 5 minutes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last question, which is from the line of Sparsh Rena from Mirabilis Investment. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. And thank you for the opportunity, sir. I had just one question. Sir, could you give a comment on how the employee costs have reduced this time for this quarter, and are these sustainable, or will we go back to the last year's number?
No, employee cost is sustainable because in the EPC there was much more employee, more than 300, 400 employee, because now the size of the EPC has reduced to 45%. So because of that, employee cost has reduced, and it is sustainable because we are not going to increase the EPC.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as this was the last question for the day, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
So I thank all of our business associates and market associates for the joining this conference call. If you have any further questions, you may write to us and contact Mr. Rajiv Gupta. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, too.
Thank you. On behalf of KEI Industries and Monarch Networth Capital, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.